the No Limiter Podcast, where we interview top business owners, entrepreneurs, and creators in every industry to help you set record-breaking months. Here's your host of the No Limiter Podcast, Regina Eileen Woodard.
You're watching the No Limited Podcast with your host, Regina Eileen Woodard, Regina, the queen of Carltons and credit. And today I am joined with a good friend that I've been knowing over 25 years. He supported me in this automobile space. Him and his family has purchased cars from me. And we have been having conversations the last 6 months. And we've been speaking about making a difference in the community. What are you doing to make a difference in the community? What are you doing for the kids now, or children now, or adults, right? Helping them get their lives together. So we decided to have a conversation. And so today I'm bringing to you Carlton Jones. He is actually over TDC, Talent Development Correlation. And he is also proud to be a part of, actually he is the founder of Carval, Carval. Two nonprofits that have bridging the gap together to make a difference in this community. This community I'm talking about is the Pontiac community. We are two proud residents. Well, I'm not currently in Pontiac, but two proud residents or two proud graduates of Pontiac. You don't have to go to Pontiac school to be graduate from Pontiac, but just a part of the Pontiac pillar community. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast, Carlton. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Regina. It's so always good to see you and interact with you and see how you're doing great things in this community yourself. I'm glad to be here today.
Well, you know what? Thanks for joining us. And I know today we're going to have a conversation about what you're doing, and how you're bridging the gap with young adults between the ages of 18 to 29, and also bridging the gap with the parents and their kids. That's very key, because on today's episode, we're going to talk about how you don't have to go to college to get that 4-year degree. You can pick up a trade, but how do you do that? Well, today, Carlton is going to share that with you. But first, I want Carlton to just share a little bit about his background, because when I do business with someone, I just want to know a little bit about their background. So Carlton, give us a little bit about your background.
Well, it's good that you're trying to find out a little bit about people's background, because I think a lot of times we jump off in the thing with people and we really don't know who we're dealing with, Yes. So I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about my background. But the work I do, it really be focused on the individuals. But I think it's good to know, especially when parents have somebody who they want to trust to put the lives of their kids or the young people. It's good that they have somebody they can trust and believe in. But, as you were saying, I was born and raised here in Pontiac, proud of that, graduated of Pontiac Central High School some years ago. And I just really feel, even though people can have their own say-so, it's really the people around you who can make a difference in your life. And I had some very faithful parents who was very diligent about connecting with my teachers when I was in school, to make sure, even though I ain't say I did everything up and right, but I didn't get in no major trouble. I was fortunate enough that I had an athletic ability that awarded me a 4-year scholarship to Alabama State University down in Montgomery, Alabama. And it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, because I completed my 4 years of college down there in 4 years. Now, as you were saying earlier, that track that we went on some years ago was okay. But that's not the track that everybody have to take these days. And I'm trying to give some opportunities for people to realize there's more career options than just taking a high school into college track.
Well, you know what? It's funny that we're having this conversation. I say it's funny, but it's not funny. A lot of people think that education is the key, and it's not. I'm a graduate of Oakland Community College and Oakland University, but the career I chose is sales and in the automobile business. And you don't have to have a degree in that. But, I look at that as a trade, because you got to have skills to be able to be in the car business, but you didn't have to have a piece of paper. And your program and what you're going to tell us about, I know that it's going to go way up the line. When I say way up, it's an 8 right now. And I don't give it a 10 yet, because once you hit 10, you have touched the entire Pontiac and other communities. But, in today's world, everybody don't need an education. You don't need an education. And people just have to know that you have to have a trade. But let's talk a little bit about talent development correlation, TDC. Right. What is that? How do you do it? What is it? And how do you do it?
That's a good question. You hear everybody talking about TDC, and I'm glad that you break it down and tell them what that really is. What's in need right now across the country is talent. Everybody's looking for talent. And when you start talking about talent, it's not like it's just jobs out there. The jobs that people want to have filled is some people coming in that's been properly prepared for them. And as you were speaking earlier about, the educational piece, it's basically, when you start talking about developing talent, you need to be good at what you do. It's not saying you have to have a degree for it, but you need to be good at it, and it needs to be your craft. It needs to be your trade. And so when you really start talking about going to school for college, a lot of times you have a variety of different classes and you really don't have a trade. But now, as you were speaking, Regina, you went for studying one thing, but you found that something that you like, something you deserve, you just started developing a passion for, and you became good at it. And you are good at it. And I think it's selling cars and not selling cars. You be helping people. Mm-hmm. And I think really more than anything, I see you reaching down to help people who maybe no one else could provide service to them. You're willing to get in there and do what you can to try to help them. And that's the kind of heart and spirit that I have about workforce development. And so when you talk about TDC, if you break it down, what we do is try to develop the talent so that you can pursue high-paying, high-demand positions that's in demand right now. Now, that process is where you do have to get some education and go through this developing of training. Now, training is a little different than just going through and passing classes. You get some hands-on training, you get some classroom training. That's what we do at TDC. We get you to start, one, just like you said, who is the person? Who is this person we're dealing with? Because one of the things that we strive on is to try to connect you to a passion. And it's interesting because you ask young people now, what are you passionate about? Sometimes they got a blank look on their face. It's like,
because they don't know. But they know what they don't know, right?
Right. That's very true. And so until you can start connecting somebody to something that's passionate about it, you could be job hopping all day. And with so many jobs out here, that's when, jobs are out there, but I'm not saying, I always try to tell people there's a big difference in pursuing a career than you going after a job. So TDC, Talent Development Coalition, is a coalition of post-secondary educators. We've got 2 schools you went to, we work real close with, OCC and Oakland University, and also Baker College. And then we got other entities that provide training that we call those post-education partners also.
So it's a trade, right? I mean, because you're not getting, is it 4-year school, 2-year school? Help me understand, because, when you say Oakland University, Oakland Community College, Baker College, it's like going to school, right?
Yeah, but let me tell you what, it's a good question right there. When you do training programs, we specifically will bring you in and start teaching you about this area that you may have interest in. We teach you in how to prepare yourself to get in the healthcare market, how to get into the advanced manufacturing market, how to get into the construction market. We also right now talking about how you can get into the energy, recycling, and environmental market. Now, people just don't realize those areas got a lot of demands and they're looking for talent. But if you haven't been exposed and you don't have a clue of what they do there, you are really lost to say, okay, how do I get in there? That's what we do. We'll take you in to see if this is an area that really matches up to your strength. And so if it doesn't.
So I want to cut you off a little bit because you got the moving part going. You're going like a train. So, okay. You take them in. So if they have an interest in homes or being a CNN or being an electrician or a plumber, you help them develop their skill, or you find out what area that they want to focus on. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, we have several training programs. So if they had a desire that they wanted to go into the healthcare market, there could be a CNA program that we want to say, well, maybe the CNA program, training program is one you want to get into. OCC puts that out. If they said they want to get into construction, we got an 8-week program that you can go through there and you can learn about construction. Now, that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to stay there the rest of your life, but it gives you a chance to get a real hands-on feel for, is this an area that really matches up to something you want to do? And at the same time, you gain credentials. Now, credentials is a little different than just a degree.
Yes. Explain that. Yeah. Please.
Right. There's different areas of industries. They look for credentials. Most people don't know. People in the IT field, they make a large amount of dollars, but they don't require for them to have a college degree. But they do a lot of times have them to say, do you have certain credentials in that area? If you're a programmer, they want to say, what kind of credentials do you have to certify you as being a programmer? So those are the ways you start trying to get the demand that's out there for people. They don't necessarily say that they're looking for college graduates. They're looking for people who have credentials that could do what they're saying that they can do. And that's what we do. We get the preliminary credentials to give you a chance to go after high paying and high demand positions.
Why do you think it's such a need right now? What made you want to develop, put these two nonprofits together, TDC and Carval, Carval? I'm spelling it so you'll get it, because that's what I have to do to put it in my head. But what made you now see the need in Pontiac to do this for the community? And I say do this for the community because I got my way of thinking of why you did it, but in your mind, why is it the time now to do what you're doing by also, that's one question, by also bringing other community leaders together? Because when I was watching your video that you stressed that I watched, and I appreciate you stressing that a couple of times to me, because it told me everything that you did, that you do, but it also showed your partners, the people you're working with. But going back to the original question, why now? Why now is the time?
Yeah, so let me just say this. I have been in this space for almost 6 years now. And I was told back when I first was desiring to get into it, said that is a up and coming area that we are going to be faced with. And this because we have a loss of people in the work field. The baby boomers are now all retiring, or they're really just now getting to the point where they can't do what they used to do. And if we don't backfill, especially for skilled positions, we could be lost. You know, right now in the area of construction, when you start talking about electricians, carpenters, millwrights, welders, if people don't realize how important those people are to make all type of things work. So what I had done, and this is some piece I didn't get a chance to share with everybody, after I did my college piece and I was out in the world working as a professional, as a business manager, doing the things I was doing, one of my mentors never lost contact with me. And he right here in Pontiac, he was a contractor. And he said, when I came home one time, he said, hey, what do you think about coming back and working with me now, son? You know, and I really, I was off. I really wasn't jumping up and down to come back home, to be truthful. But I really wanted to give back. I wanted to give back for some people done for me. He took me after I got my degree and said, I want to come in here and I want to put you into an apprenticeship program. Now, what did I know about apprenticeship program? Very little. Now, I got a college degree and everything, but I didn't know a lot about apprenticeship program. And I went to a 4-year apprenticeship program to become a journeyman carpenter. Did you hear me, Regina?
Yeah, you went through a 4-year journeyman program to become a carpenter. And so what you're saying basically, Carlton, is that you got your degree, you got your education, but then you went back to do something else. And that's the same thing. I mean, honestly, that's the same thing I did. I went to college. I didn't go through all that training that you did, but when you sell cars or you getting to know people and you actually, you helping change people's lives, right? You got to go to school for that. So that's basically, Basically, it's just saying, going back to what I said in the beginning of the video, the beginning of the show, is that, education is not, the 4-year school is not for everybody. It's about picking up that trade and also knowing what you want to do. And that's the great thing about what you offer, is helping a person realize what they want to do. Because if I'd had that, somebody helping me and telling me, why don't you try this and try that? Because what happens is, if you go to college and you might be in school for a year or two getting an education, and then you realize this is not for me. But did you have somebody in the beginning to help find out what your needs are, so that you wouldn't have to waste 2 or 3 years of your life?
That's right.
Oh,
that's
my
it.
God. Oh.
That's it. That's it, Regina. That's it. Yeah, we're trying to keep that from happening. Because that's a waste of somebody's money, somebody's time. And you hit the nail on the head right there. And that's why we right now getting into the K-12 system. We're in the high schools, we're in the middle schools, and saying it's some other options other than just going from 12th grade into college. Nothing wrong with college, Yes. And you hit something else too that most people don't realize. Everybody who start college don't finish.
That's it.
They don't finish.
That's it.
And it's probably a good reason, because they see it's not for them.
Yes.
But then they're usually kind of saying, well, what is? And that's what we have right now before the people in Pontiac. The state of Michigan has given us a grant to do career navigation services for a lot of the 8th to 12th graders in Pontiac school system. And we're reaching out to the ones in the Promise Zone schools to see how we can go ahead and navigate them to career options.
What's the Promise Zone? What's the Promise Zone school district?
Okay, the Promise Zone is funding that comes from the federal government to help in certain areas that they have underprivileged kids or population. So they have funding to help them get into higher education. And now the higher education is not just college, but it's training programs. So a lot of the young people who come out of the Pontiac school districts, now the Promise Zone has 10 schools that's throughout the Pontiac school district. It's just not Pontiac High. It's, several schools that's in the Pontiac district that's part of the Promise Zone. They can get scholarships to go to college, but they also can get scholarships to get them into training program. Say if one wanted to be a truck driver, one wanted to be a welder, and they wanted to get into auto mechanics, and they wanted to go to a training program to get them some credentials for that. That Promise Zone dollars would allow them to go ahead and do that, and it'd be paid for.
Are you in the market for a new or used car? Whether you're in the Metro Detroit area or anywhere in the U.S., call or text me at 248-301-0461. And I go to work on getting you the best deal possible. That's right. We're delivered anywhere in the U.S. Call or text me at 248-301-0461. It's funny that you're saying that. I had a young lady reach out to me. Oh, I can't think of her name. She's probably going to kill me if she sees this one day. But she's something. I can't think of her name right now. But I know she called me because she wants to get an internship with one of the kids at the dealership. She wants to open the door. And of course, she called me because, I do stuff in the community. Everybody know me in the community. And it sounds like she wants us to be a partner, right? Mm-hmm. And it sounds like something that a partnership could be developed with TDC and Carval, where we could help them maybe in the automobile space. I don't know. Because you got a lot of individuals don't realize that at the dealership. I know I'm going on a different tangent, but I think this is very important because I think that we'll be bridging the gap. But a lot of people don't understand that when you sell cars, you don't need a degree. When you work with, say, if you're a mechanic, you don't have to have a degree, but you got to have credentials, right?
That's right.
Credentials. And
That's right.
If you're good with your hands and you know how to put a transmission in, you know how to change the oil, you know just how to do something in service, right? Then you got a place that you could have an internship or you can get a job at or even being a service advisor. You don't have to have a degree to be a service advisor, but you got to have credentials. You got to take the class, you got to do this. And then first of all, you got to have customer service skills. When you're working up in the front, when you're working up in the back and you're working on somebody's cars, you don't have to have customer service skills. You just got to be able to do your job. Your talent's got to speak out. Okay. I'm off down that tangent, but go ahead.
No, but let me tell you, Regina, you have almost described what we do with TDC, because we do have industry partners come on and they take a lot of our students on as interns while they're in our training process. We'll have them in the classroom so much time. Like, say, for instance, right now, we have a construction program with Oakland University being an educator. Habitat is one of our partners. They do the hands-on training for the construction component. And then we got several local Pontiac contractors that the students could do internship. All this is why we got the program going. So they get introduced to the contractors while they're learning and while they're doing hands-on training.
Mentorship.
Correct. Now, let me share with you also, so I don't know if I wrote it down wrong to you, but the name of my company is CarNav, N-A-V.
CarNav, I'm saying Carval.
It's CarNav.
CarNav, C-A-R-N-A-V.
N-A-V, yeah. And basically, my company is a career navigation specialist company. That's what we do. We're career navigators. We help you in navigating your career. And that's, like you said earlier, it's all ages. But we primarily try in Pontiac, we're trying to feed the pipeline. And how you feed the pipeline is you reach into the school system. And so young people can start thinking about what kind of career when they go to high school. That's like right now, we're looking at trying to work. Tomorrow, I'm going to meet with probably 150 eighth graders at Pontiac Middle School. And we're going to be trying to see how we can get them into a program that we call career navigation program, so they can start understanding different options before they go to high school. Because they go the right track, it's a good opportunity. They could get into one of the tech schools, OTech, and that will cultivate different skill sets before they get out of high school. Guaranteed, if they do that right, they can come out of high school and be prepared to step into $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 jobs at 18 and 19-year-old.
Wow. I hear you loud. I hear you loud and clear. And it's so great that you built the relationships, because in order to do this huge thing that you're doing, and probably not huge thing, but bridging the gap, you got to have those partners, because it all honestly starts in the school system. It starts with the kids. And if you don't have that relationship, because you can't get the kids when they're 11th and 12th grade. You need to get one in the 8th grade. You need to program their mind. What are you going to do when you graduate from school? What are you thinking? What are your goals? Okay, you don't want to go to college. What kind of trade? What are you good at? What do you like to do? And starting on that 8th grade level is huge, because when I was in 8th grade, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I played basketball, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And the only thing what saved me when I went to school, because I went to Oakland Community College and Oakland University, loved those two schools, but I got my degree in psychology from Oakland Community College. And then I got my bachelor's in sociology, and it made me good with people. It did, and that's what helped me. But my dad was always good with people. He was, and my mom, they was like I don't want to say social, like really like social a lot of people, but they helped me mold me into the person, besides getting my degree, in sociology. But anyway, I'm off my rant. I'm sorry, it's your interview, but I just get it.
But you know what? But Regina, what I think what happened to you is you found your passion, and somehow it was embedded in you as you was connecting it to your upbringing. Mm-hmm. Being around your parents, they were very into people. So now, as you are into your passion, what you enjoy doing, you're into people, you're helping people. Mm-hmm. And don't discount your education, because even though you did not take it to in a direction that maybe you thought of back then, I guarantee you it complements what you're doing right now. That's why we try to encourage young people, don't discount education, because whatever you get into, you're going to need to continue to educate yourself so you can continue to lift yourself up. Trade people have to stay good at their trade.
So they got to continue to educate themselves, right?
Continue to educate themselves.
Do that. You got to update your credentials. So when things change, you got to be just like when you work on a car. You know, they build the cars differently, right? They got electric cars, they got this, they got that, something happen. You got to stay up on your knowledge. You know, you might not have got that 4-year degree, right? But you got to go back and you got to get that credentials because things are changing.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I love the fact that you said don't discount your schooling, right? I don't. But if I'd have known what I knew back then, and I love what you're doing right now because you help kids at an early age. If you start with the kids of 18 to 29, but you're going back to the 8th grade level, 7th, 8th, 9th, that level, 8th grade, then you're starting where you help and mold them to think about what they want to do and where they want to go. Because the worst thing you can do is have someone graduate from high school and they have no clue what they want to do. And the purpose of our conversation today is to let people know that, what are you good at? You're an adult, you're watching. If you're a child, whether you're just flipping by the channel, find out what you want to do. And if you're in the local area of Pontiac, you need to be reaching out to Carlton Jones because, I wish, honestly, this program was around with me growing up, but I know that now in today's market, it's a need. And it's only a need now is because Pontiac we're putting ourselves back on the map because at one time we were one of the richest counties in the world, right? Oakland County, right? And I think now we don't hold that, right? It's just, it's in the past. Is that correct?
Well, Oakland County is still one of the major economic engines and counties throughout the country. But see, Pontiac used to be a real force in there because we had General Motors strong in Pontiac. But now what's coming back is other industries are now coming into Pontiac.
Yes.
And so it's time for us to have a resurgence of Pontiac. But for Pontiac residents to take advantage of it, it's just like what you're saying. The opportunity is now. The opportunity is now for us, not only just the people now, but like you were saying, we're now getting into the school system so we can start filling that pipeline. So young people, when they come out, they have a lot more choices. One of the programs we have going right now is called Keys for Success. And it's Keys for Success is 4 keys. And I was just going to share with you, this is part of what the grant is allowing us to come into schools to do, is that first key is, who am I? Who am I? Just like you said initially, well, who am I talking to? Carl, and until you can find out who you are, what is your strength? We ain't going to necessarily talk about your weaknesses, but we all have strengths and weaknesses, but we're going to say, what are your strengths? What is it you really like to do? Then we'll be able to match that to careers that match up to your strength. We're not going to say which one you pick, but let's let you take a look at which one match up to your strength. Mm-hmm. So now if you find that out going into high school, you can at least start pursuing in your mind a little bit of this is where I know I'm strong at. Now, I would say anybody who want to get in skilled trades and construction, you need to sharpen up your math skills. You need to sharpen up your math skills while you're in high school. Don't wait. You get them classes, take time. You need some tutoring because that is the key to sometimes getting into apprenticeship programs. Can you pass the test to become an electrician, to get into apprenticeship? If you can't pass the math test, and it's not that it's so tough, it's just that sometimes you don't think about, I don't like math, but we all use math, whether we real or not, we all use math all the time. So right now, it's a great opportunity, and I hope that people will hear this and come out and reach out because we really want to try to help as many people in the city of Pontiac around Oakland County as possible. So I appreciate you reaching out and encouraging folks, Regina, to see how they can fully take advantage of this.
But I want the other keys. The keys.
Oh, yeah. First key is, who am I? The second is, where am I going or where do I want to go? And then is, how do I get there? We've spelled it out for you, how you can get there, what you say you want to do. We'll show you a roadmap and give you a roadmap of how to get there. And then the fourth one is, what does it cost? And when I say what does it cost, it's not necessarily financial costs. The major thing is a commitment. Be responsible. Because when you go through the TDC program of construction, what we teach you is 3 main things that employers said that they want people to come out to class with. And one is attendance, attitude, and being able to work together with other people teamwork.
So your program, is it grants? Do people have to have money if they want to enroll or find out more? I mean, how's the funding for it? I heard you say grants.
Yeah, now we've got a couple different opportunities. TDC is a organization that is fiduciarized by Habitat. Habitat is one of the major nonprofit 501c3s around the country. That's our fiduciary agent who makes TDC a nonprofit. Now, Carnab Group, my company, is not actually a nonprofit, but we do the service for the nonprofit. Okay. And what has happened is right now that the state of Michigan initially had a Marshall Plan grant. We were granted so much to work with the construction program. And then our state representative, Brenda Carter, worked real hard to get us.
Awesome lady.
Fantastic. Awesome, I got to give her much. She's a part of TDC. Yeah. Brenda Carter has been a tremendous help for this community. We got to do everything possible to make sure that she stays there. And she went to work to get TDC funding for career navigation services. And these are the services that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do for the city of Pontiac based upon some grant dollars that she was able to get from our governor to help people here in the Pontiac and Oakland County area. And then Oakland University was able to get parts of a Bomber grant to help with the construction program that they're leading. So a person who comes in, matter of fact, we don't necessarily like to say it's free, but it's funded. It's funded for them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's a good word. It's funded. It's not free. It's funded. It's funded. Right. So it's no worries because it's funded. I like that word. You're right. I've been told that many times. Take the word free, y'all, because when people think about free, they think about, oh, well, I can just do what I want. No, it's funded.
Right.
So how would someone get in contact with you?
The best way right now for them to get in contact with me directly is to call me, and I'll be glad to give them my phone number, 313-585-9950. Call me. If you can text me, you can call and talk to me. If you leave it on my voicemail, if it's full, give me a text, whatever. Right now, we got an opportunity to get people in classes for this summer. We got a cohort that's going to start next week. So that's filled already. But the one this summer, and we got another cohort for construction is going to be in the fall. But we've got a great opportunity with OCC. They got about 4 programs, and one is a logistics program. Another one is a robotics program. And then there's advanced manufacturing where they go through and learn some CNC as a CNC operator. And then there's a healthcare for being a CNA. So all those programs fall up under what we are offering through these entities who are our partners. OCC is a partner to TDC. Oakland University is a partner. So any programs they have going, we can direct you to those programs, and it's funded. Funded. So funded. It's funded. You got it. I don't want to say it's free, but it's funded.
It's funded. So I got to do a correction again. It's TARNAV. Carnav. CARNAV.
Short for career navigation. That's what we are. We're career navigators. Right.
Career navigation.
My team of people are career navigators. Most of the time they call us coaches. We act as coaches. We act as mentors. And let me tell you, Regina, that is such a valuable piece in this process because there's a lot of young people who maybe not having anyone who they can really go to and deal with some of the issues they may be having. That's what we take into consideration. If they're having a transportation problem, they got a child care problem. We've got people in the coalition that can help them with that. See, so we've got all these support entities that's a part of the coalition to help build success for those people who want to be serious about getting into a career track. Now, it's a challenge because everybody chasing after jobs, they don't understand the difference between a job and a career.
Well, you know what? Why don't we do this before we get off? Give them the definition of a job and a career.
Yeah, that's good. Now, I'll do that. And most time you chase after a job can end you in a dead end street. And you'll be going after another one in another 5-6 months. It could be dead end. Sometimes you go at these jobs for summer jobs or holiday jobs, and then you see right after holiday time is over with, the job is getting ready to lay you off. You go after a career, you get credentials, what Regina is kind of letting you all know. Credentials is the key.
Yes.
Is the key.
Yes.
I'll tell you guys this. myself personally, my journeyman card for my 4 years of learning carpentry is more valuable now than my degree.
Yeah.
That journeyman card, I can take it anywhere in the country
and get a job.
And I have to get paid a certain journeyman wages because of my journeyman status.
Because
my college degree don't always do that for me.
Yes, that's true. I'm a product of that. I got my degree, but I'm a product of, it didn't take me where I needed to go. It helped. But I mean, the bottom line is get your credentials. Get your credentials. Next bottom line is find out what you want to do at an early stage. And if you don't know what you want to do, get with TDC, Talent Development Correlation, and CARNAV to help get your life together, because that's a necessity. That, you hear me? That's a necessity. When I say a necessity is when you wake up in the morning, you need a bed to sleep in, right? Or you need an apartment, or you need a room to sleep in, right? You might have a room, you might have a house, you might have wherever you live, but you got a place to live, right? Getting your credentials needs to be a necessity in your life. If you don't get anything from this, watching this video, watching this podcast, you need to know that getting your credentials is a necessity. And City of Pontiac, we are there for you. The Carlton Jones is there for you. I gave you his whole name. Carlton, give us your number real quick. Give it to us twice in case they didn't get it. Give it to us twice, please.
Yeah. Give me a call directly. Number is 313-585-9950. And if you wanted to use the email address, it's easy. It's cdjones@carnav.com. 313-585-9950. And feel free to contact me. If not, just pull up TDC or pull up Carnav in your phone, and I'm quite sure you'll be able to get to me.
All right. Thank you, Carlton.
Thank you, Regina.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the No Limiter Podcast with Regina Eileen Woodard. Remember to subscribe and review the No Limiter Podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and the No Limiter Podcast YouTube channel. Every listen and review helps to get this podcast out to as many no limiters like you as possible.